Let's get those filters all set up. There we go. We got them. Thursday night. I'm going to try not to be as angry as I was last week. We'll see. We shall see. Given the direction that we're going in, it's hard not to be. But I'm going to see if I can kind of keep it a little bit more toned down. And tonight I'm actually not going to be working on the Stamen, the GPO3 from 0083. Instead, I think I'm going to work on I haven't decided yet. Kind of figuring I've got this guy almost wrapped up. It's been a fun model. Not a great model, not the perfect model, but it's been fun, and the detail on this thing is psychotically good. It's incredible. Or I might work on this here. Not sure yet. Both of which are good options. If my local boy Austin or one of my other guys pop in tonight, I might ask them, hey, I can switch over to this because I know you guys are working on T3485s. We shall see. We shall see. In any case, so while we're, I'm going to probably get started on this a little bit, but while we're doing that, just to kind of respond to some of the craziness that's going on in the world. Every week things are going to get crazier. Let's just be honest. It's not going to get better. It's going to get crazier and crazier as the dishonesty becomes greater and greater. We're dealing in a world now where, honestly, I really don't get it. But I did hear something recently that I think it helps in terms of understanding. It doesn't help in terms of accepting. And that is that, somebody said, there are not, they're not Democrats and Republicans, progressives and conservatives in this country. You're either for America or you're against America. And this person was saying that from a perspective of the right. Fine. No. Yes and no. I agree that there are two Americas. There are those who will follow the Constitution and those that will not. And my belief is that you have a group of people who are willing to do anything to protect their power and to lie and cheat and espouse views that they couch them as in, we're doing this under the Constitution and for the American people. And what they're really doing is seeding chaos. And when constitutionally people challenge them, how dare you, they say, how dare you challenge, you left-leaning, ultra-psychotic, progressive, communist, socialist, take your pick, all the terms that get thrown out. And they are saying things like, you know what? How dare you challenge the authority of the president? This is our president. He's doing best by us, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I think there are two Americas. I think there are people who are on the side of America and those who are against America. And it is actually flipped. Those that seek power in order to rule for their own personal greed, and I don't mean that's purely financial greed. We're going to get to that in a little bit, but I think it's a power move, and because of that, let me see. Actually, I'm not seeing any messages. Let me try something here, guys. Chat filter, all messages, none. Chat filter, all messages, no. So there are people who believe that they are doing right by America because we're protecting America and doing what's right for America first and everything like that. And I will say to them straight up that no, that's not the way it works. When you send somebody to jail, to prison, without any level of due process, you're violating the Constitution. And then when you got people in high office who are saying things like, "Yeah, no, this is the right thing to be doing," I will say two things. The first is you are not a true American. You are not a believer in the Constitution. You are a believer in changing the Constitution for your own views to put yourself into a higher power and to wield it over others, to literally put the thumb down on others, given the rhetoric that's coming out and everything. And the second thing is, as we are now heading into one of the holiest weeks in Christianity, to hear people saying things, the vileness of sending people to concentration camps, the vileness of it, and they're walking around with crosses on them. Honest to God, what the ever-living fuck? I've talked about this a lot. I consider myself a Christian. I am very proud of being a Christian. I grew up Greek Orthodox. I am now an Episcopalian. I'm very proud of that. And it pains me to no end when I see people sitting around saying that lying about a person and sending them to places, not giving them due process, and then going about and talking about how cool God is. You are a fucking liar. Not only a liar, you are not a Christian. Sorry, you're not a Christian. I was always brought up in a faith that said, you know what? You help out people, like my dad used to do. Person's got troubles, got problems, whatever. You go out and help people. You don't go around preaching about how cool you are and how close to God you are and how Christian you are, and then go stick a knife in somebody's back. And then laugh about it like it's a fucking joke. That is not the world that I grew up in. So last night I had the opportunity to go spend time with at a town hall meeting with my representative. And one of the things he said was, we have to start using our voices, our platforms, to be able to talk to people and to get across that what we're experiencing right now is not normal. And this is Jim McGovern from the great state of Massachusetts. And I fully embrace what he said. In fact, this is why tonight, when I thought long and hard over the last day about what he said. And it kind of got me to thinking about how I want to start using this Thursday night thing. And it's less about getting angry and bitching and complaining, and more about let's start looking at how wrong these things are and the things that we can do to help. And I don't mean just protest. I mean, I think it really, or, complain to our Congress people or whatever. It's to use the voices that we have to drown out the deceptions that are being thrown at us. And I believe it. I got to tell you guys, I think there's It is. We're being deceived. We're being deceived by people who think that they know the Constitution better than judges. They think they know the Constitution better um, than many of us who've actually studied some of this. Now, I'm not a constitutional lawyer or anything like that, but I I've studied enough history, and I see what's going on. And this is not. And again, if you read something and it says, you know what, 1 + 1 = 2, and somebody turns to you and says, no, 1 + 1 = 3. How the heck are you on in the afternoon? Yeah. What's going on, Doctor Who? Yeah, I do this. I've started doing a live stream on Thursdays, basically to kind of get the bile out, because this is why I call this OSG Unleashed, because this is a time where I'll be working on a model, but I'm going to be talking a lot more about the stuff that I'm seeing in the world that bothers me, scares me, and for it's both political, religious, all of that stuff, because it's getting to the point where I don't think we can keep this bottled up anymore. And like I was just saying a few moments ago, when our U.S. rep was saying last night at a town hall meeting that we have to use our voices to whatever our platforms are to be able to talk about these things. He's 100% right. So we're going to have to do things in a better way of getting the messages across that what's going on right now ain't good. It's not good. And I know that I've been told by a number of people, you don't want to do this. I don't want to hear politics. I don't want to talk about it, which is fine. I get it. Democracy is teetering on oligarchy. I would actually challenge you on that and say we've crossed the line. I think with the Supreme Court now being basically not listened to, yeah, we've crossed the line. But I think we have to use our platforms and we have to use whatever means we can. I'm very much believe in, again, I've studied history. I love history. And I believe that you have to look and see what's going on, what history has shown us, both in terms of what happened in Germany in the 1930s, but in addition, looking at great leaders, voices that came about in the past that challenged a lot of this authority. He's copying his hero, Andrew Jackson. Yeah. Yeah, he is, isn't he? And probably another couple of 20th century dictators. But yes, you are correct. But I think we have to stand up to this and call it for what it is. Call it wrong. And, talk about it. I have 2 daughters, and one of them was looking at schools in the southern part of this country. Guys, I've been to the Carolinas, beautiful part. I love Texas. Texas is a beautiful state. And I am so glad when I heard that the programs that she applied to nursing programs, which are very competitive. And she applied to a couple schools in the South, one which she got waitlisted to, and a couple which she did not get into. And you rarely are happy for your child in not winning something. I was happy because if she got accepted and went to either a school in Texas or in South Carolina right now, I'm sorry, North Carolina or Alabama, I'd be fearing for her every fucking day. I'd be fearing for her because as we start taking away, disenfranchising our children, disenfranchising women, um, disenfranchising anybody whose voice is antithetical to the current regime. Um, it's a scary proposition, and I'm trying to say this in a way. It pains me to see it, obviously, with everybody out there, but when it's your own child that is experiencing, can experience this stuff, it's a different part of the conversation. I know sometimes what ends up happening is with a lot of these political things, it doesn't bother us until it personally affects us, right? What's going on in the world is bothering me right now, and what could happen to my child was something that's been bugging me. So, and it like I said, it pains me to think that my child didn't get into these schools, and I'm thankful for that, because if she had gone there, it'd be bad. I would have sleepless nights until she graduated and moved the fuck back up here. So, with that, these are scary times. But I also think it's times that we have to kind of stand up a little bit. Try to get my daughter to leave for Canada, but she loves America too much. Yeah, and frankly, and we'll get to that in just a second. Ken, brother, what's going on? Um, I don't advocate that we flee. I think there might come a time where it might be a necessity. I don't advocate that right now. I'm certainly advocating that we go out there and we challenge this authority, um, and if necessary, we stand up. And I'm saying this as a guy who's like a wallflower. I might do this, and it might seem like I've got a personal confidence. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not the most confident person in so many things of my life. But I think we have to have the ability of just being able to stand up and call bullshit when it's necessary. If we see something that's wrong, we have to be up there. We have to do something. And Doctor Who, and I apologize. You may have given me your name, and if you don't give it to me, that's perfectly fine. I totally get it. Um, uh, you know, I'm happy to hear that you're also a concerned parent. You know, last night at the town hall, the majority of the people who attended were elderly. They were like, I'm 60, and I felt like the young guy in the crowd. Now they weren't all older, but there was a lot of older people. I'm looking around and I'm seeing everything. My name's Larry. Larry, my name is George. Please feel free to call me George. I'm looking around, Larry, and I'm seeing all these people they're scared. There is legit fear. Now, some of the elderly were up there, and they were kind of bringing up their concerns. You've got UMass students. We were in the University of Massachusetts system. We had somebody who works at the school, she was working in researching on lupus. They let her go because the funding disappeared because of what just happened. We had another student from a local college here, Clark University. Same thing. He's like, our department budget just got slashed. And that's not the schools making these decisions. These decisions are coming from up high. Kowtow and get your message straight. It's got to be part of this. Whatever we think needs to be messaged. And it's a scary thing. Hello? Yes, correct. It's a scary thing. I certainly have joked with my children about moving out, but I truly hope that, we survive this. And I am confident. Having read an awful lot of Orwell always comes to mind, right? having read 1984 a couple times, having read Animal House, try again, Animal Farm, Animal House too. Happens when you run a country like a business. Yeah, I agree. And that was something I heard a couple days ago specifically to that, that when you run a business, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You want to let people go, you want to fire people, you know. It's bad as that all that might be. It's a business. And yeah, you can do whatever you want and you get the pleasure and the pain from it. If if your profitability is that I got to let go of 20 people, that means I can go buy myself a better car. Great. If your business suffers from it, whatever, well, that's on you too. The difference is that to your point, and I'm sure we're in agreement here, is that countries, governments are not the same. Governments are not businesses. You are so beholden to taking care of people. That is the job. And by people, it's not a certain type of people. It's based on a rule of law that's set not by you as the person leading the government, but by a set of laws that have been laid down, at least here in this country. That's how we do things. That's how we've done it for almost 250 years. No, maybe not 250. But the point of it is that we can't have somebody come in and start telling us this is how we're going to do it now. The rule of law is what I say. That's not how it is. You want to do that in your business? Knock your fucking socks off. As exponentially crazy as it is, I worry about what type of blind nationalism ideology this is breeding. Oh, absolutely. In fact, one of the terms I've heard, and I think it's 100% right, Ken, there's a cult that is built up around this, and we have a group of people who let's cut right down to it, okay? Americans don't read. Americans will distract themselves with whatever shit's out there, from football to NASCAR to models to whatever it is. They've got all these billions of distractions, right? And they don't educate themselves. And when it's time to let's go vote, or you want to look into it, it's like, well, who should I vote? I'm not going to vote. I don't know what's going on. They've washed their hands of it. So you've got a body of voters, lowest common denominator. Yep. You've got a body of voters who are, and I apologize, stupid. Or no, that's an incorrect term, and I'll apologize for that. They're ignorant, and intentionally so. Don't care. As long as I can get my beer and I can get my books and my movies and my video games and my models and whatever, life is fine. What? That's for other people to worry about. So you got that, and then you have a group of people who understand that. And that's the group of people that are twisting minds. I agree, we do not prioritize education enough in this country. We don't. And in fact, one of the biggest problems we have now is when we're gutting the education department and defunding it and all that, and taking away all of this stuff so that we can let the local jurisdictions decide how we're going to educate our children without setting some kind of standards. So now charter schools, which have been shown to not necessarily be the best places to educate children, for-profit centers, when you've got homeschooling and Christian schools now being able to be funded by tax dollars because, well, that school over there is failing me. Well, let's take a look at this. You've done nothing to improve that school. You're blaming that school for its failure. Therefore, we're going to cut the funds that would make that school try to improve and give it to this homeschooling shit. To look at what Finland did in the 40s, 50s. I may have to look into that, Ken. I've got a pretty good knowledge of what goes on in this country, but not enough of some of the other countries. I think that's a good one, Ken. You and I are going to have to talk maybe next week when we see each other. But that kind of that kind of hypocrisy is what's causing destruction. And, you know, our current president has said as much, that he likes the uneducated, because when you're a good grifter, and he is a really fucking good grifter, or when you've got all those sycophants underneath that do the same thing and they spew the same stuff, and they know the art of the grift, and they can do that stuff, it doesn't take much for people to buy in, and that becomes a cult. And that's what we have. So we have an illiterate group of people. And I want people to understand, I'm not trying to say, and I apologize for my first comment, I want to reiterate that. But when you have an illiterate group of people who are happy being illiterate and don't have a problem in buying into very simplistic ideology. Oh, I stubbed my toe. I kicked something, I stubbed my toe. Well, I've got to do something and get rid of that rock. That rock is just like, it's an affront to me. And you got people saying, yeah, get rid of that rock. Rocks are bad. Get rid of those things. They're terrible. Oh yeah, I hurt myself once on a rock. I got to get rid of that thing. When people don't stop and think for a second about what has created a situation, what has brought us to where we are. Look, and just so as we're on the same on a certain page, I'm not saying that the other side has ever been 100% right. They've created a situation that has led us to this as well. This isn't just the rise of a certain group of people, it's the collapse of another group over on this side too. That's his target market. I believe he knows the uneducated are the majority. Absolutely. Yeah. I actually saw a chart recently on, in particular, where people skew. Like if you're white and male, that group of people is remarkably. Hey, Handren, what's going on, brother? That group of people is very much. Hey, George, man, what's going on, Handren? Where are you? Are you driving or are you home? That group of people does not want to learn. And then you have a group who it doesn't take much to get grifted. That much brother finally caught the live stream. Yeah. This is going to be a little different than the morning sessions, just so you know, Handren. So that lack of education and the ability of people to coerce other people to do this kind of stuff is bad. In the truck in Alabama. Nice. Travel safely, please. Are we not participating on this main reason for the dumbing down of this country? Social media. Oh, absolutely. I think that it's a tool, right? So Larry, I think you bring up a very good point, because I've also felt the same way. This is another reason why, in many ways, I've stepped away from, like, I used to do this live stream. I used to do this on Instagram, and I've stepped away because, and even a recent article that I just read, Instagram is no longer about you connecting, Instagram or Facebook, of you connecting with people, with friends, family, whatever. It's all about other shit. He's obviously nothing like this target market, but uses them for his advantage. Effective yet far from noble. 100%. Oh, absolutely. There's no nobility there at all. The social media has a potential to be an exceptionally good tool, But like any tool, if you do something different with it, if you use it in a bad way, it will cost you. And it's costing us. We've allowed for social media to become so unregulated that and allowing, okay, I'm going to bring this up, and I know this is the crazy analogy, right? Terminator, Skynet, we're allowing algorithms to do certain things. Hey, you watched a video on politics. Hey, here's something that's leaning more left. Here's something that's leaning more right. Oh, you watched that right thing. Well, here's something from Charlie Kirk. Here's something from what the other guys, Benny Johnson, and the rest of them. And the next thing you know, you got a demographic, because, they're collecting all that demographic information. Next thing you know, you got kids that are watching the lunacy of what is and the hatred that is being espoused. And there is no counter to it. You're in a bubble. Are you saying I'm in a bubble? Making sure I understand the point, Larry. Um, I do sometimes feel like I'm in a bubble. The thing is, if you regulate internet, then it will likely regulate so-called freedom. At the same time, if there is no regulation, freedom becomes chaos. Yeah, and I think, and Handren, I'm not saying that you have to do hard regulation or not. I think the point is, first of all, not you personally. Sorry. Yeah, no worries. I just wanted to make sure. And Larry, trust me, I got a pretty thick skin, so it's not a big deal. But Handren, you bring up a very good point, and that is that we have to be cautious of the regulation, but we can't also allow an algorithm, a lack of humanness to this to allow our kids to be seeing stuff that they really fucking shouldn't. You know, I flag my video as not rated for kids, and it's not often that I'm going to be. I take it back. I do curse a lot, okay, but I'm not going to say things that are completely offensive. But I also don't think that this is necessarily the thing that kids should be listening to, or if they do, parents, it's your fucking responsibility to keep an eye on what they're watching and listening to. Regulation is important in terms of cut the fucking algorithm out. Hey, if I watch something that's related to this, and here's other stuff you might like, the next thing you know, particularly young people who can get influenced very easily are going to go down and seeing shit that the next thing you know, oh my God, the stuff that they're watching is scaring the shit out of you. There was an article in, I believe, on the BBC about a year ago about a kid who actually, even on his Instagram page, I think, like, checked, I don't want to watch anything political or anything like that. And he got all that political shit, including stuff that was just like nasty and misogynistic and all of it. It doesn't work. So this is another one of those things where we as parents, I know we're going all over the place, but we as parents need to kind of rein some of that in. You know what? Maybe your kids shouldn't have a phone at a young age if they're not able to understand what they're watching. Or maybe if you should pay a little bit more attention to what they're watching. I've been fortunate that my girls have been, for the most part, pretty good. They haven't really seen anything they haven't done anything or whatever. They like watching stuff on hair, makeup, dancing. My younger daughter watched a lot of the dancing shit. I'm fortunate for that. But if I had a young son, oh fuck me, I would be all over his stuff. You say or allow everything, or like the game Assassin's Creed, where the motto is nothing is true, everything is permitted, then regulation, rules, policies are no longer needed. Exactly. So, at what point do you balance? And this is what I always come back to. And once that happens, society is no less than a rural jungle. And I think that's kind of where we are right now. We are so distracted by the craziness that's on social media. It's anarchy, 100%. We are very much being distracted by and led by an algorithm that's telling us what we should, or here's something you might be interested in that really you shouldn't be watching. And there's nothing regulating it. And then you have people who are saying, but we're not going to regulate it. And then you have a general population that doesn't have a clear understanding of what's good for them because they're illiterate. Now you're creating a society of people who are, and let's throw in one other thing, and then you have chaos. Like, my 401k is crashing. I can't keep up with my bills, whatever it is. And all of that stuff does the same thing. It just now suddenly, it just feeds the fire. Makes money for Meta, Google X. Yeah, exactly. And I remember reading something. I've talked about this before, Larry, in my morning show. I remember reading a couple of years ago some books by a couple books by Jaron Lanier, who is one of the fathers of AI. And he actually wrote a book called The 10 Reasons Why You Dump Facebook, basically. He's like, I don't do social media, he says. This is the guy who started a lot of this stuff. He said, I don't do social media. And a lot of it is because I am not being paid for you to collect my data. You are collecting my data. Now you're giving me something in return. I'm getting YouTube. I'm not paying for YouTube. Okay. I'm using Instagram. I'm using all these platforms. They're collecting your data. And then that data is being used in order to create this stuff, these problems. He says, I'll pay for my data. I will cut you a check monthly, credit card, PayPal, whatever it is, right? I will pay you. But until the day that you have a pay model where I can opt out if I don't want you to do that, I am not going to use your system. More than just marketing. I think it's more than just marketing. I think it's actually got to the point where marketing can now cross over into propaganda or some other detrimental things, or it's being used in such a way that I think I know where you're going with in terms of being marketing, but I think it's also being used in as long as we're making money and I don't have to pay people to kind of monitor some of this crazy shit, and that crazy shit can go into the hands of kids and we're not monitoring that. Yeah, life's bad. There's nothing more dangerous than normalizing the wrongs at the same. The definition of wrong can change from one view to another. That is true. However, there are things that are sometimes there is right and there is wrong. Wait a minute. Can I clock off? Nah. Clint, good evening. How are you? This is my Thursday night OSG Unleashed. This is where all the stuff that I don't try to talk about in the mornings about politics and religion and everything like that comes up now. So I'm going on my little tirade. But I also want to continue to bring forward, and it's very personal to me. Like I said before at the very beginning, I'm an Episcopalian. I'm proud of my religion. I'm very happy with it. I always, I think about it a lot. It's like I don't always agree with everything, but you know what? I was at least brought up that there was a guy who came down and he said, hey, let's do right by people. And when I see people wearing their crosses and trying to fuck everybody, I get pissed off. We go full frontal here. Yeah, kind of like full Monty. Exactly. I appreciate that I have this platform to do it on a Thursday night because then I don't have to do it in the morning. I'm not looking to do this on a daily basis because I think I would go batshit crazy if I did. But again, I read a lot, I listen to a lot, and I always do research. Another thing about education, right? If you hear something, you may want to do research. Like if I hear something, even on I listen to a lot of more left-leaning or democratic stuff, but if I hear something that just strikes me as, you know what, I want to take a look at the statistics on this. I will research it. Oh, hey, they got that right, or yeah, I'm not sure that that's right. I think you're doing a good thing, George. Venting is needed, but I'm hoping it's more than just venting, Handren. I don't think I'm going to get somebody who's off the deep end on the other side and is going to come up and say, you know what, this guy's right. I don't expect I'm going to change hearts and minds, but I think at least I've got to get some of this out there, and hopefully somebody will hear something and just say, I think I'm not sure I agree, but maybe have a point there. It's good to get on the social media soapbox. Again, Larry, to your point earlier, I'm hoping I'm doing this for a good reason. I'm not looking to actually, except for Christian nationalists. I'm not looking to destroy people. I'm not looking to denigrate people. I'm trying to find ways of saying to people, you're better than this. It's going on social media. It's like the 80s again and the moral majority. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And in fact, having just finished reading a fantastic book, Catherine Stewart's The Power Worshippers, and the history of how the moral majority and the evangelical movement, the Christian nationalist movement, and what's going on, not then, but also today. Wow, the history of the moral majority was actually kind of fascinating. That's a conversation for another day. I love my soapbox. We're at the point where you are either too far left or too far right. No one is willing to listen to the other person's point of view and have a discussion. Everyone just wants to be right. Yeah, it's frightening. Yeah, Clint, I think you're mostly right. I remember watching a movie many years ago with Charles Lawton, and I'm forgetting what the movie was, but it takes place in the Senate, and you have pretty intense discourse going on, but in the end, there's respect. We've lost that respect. We have now gotten to the point where, on both sides, but certainly more on another side, that if you disagree with me, that is an affront to my well-being. If you're not allowing prayer in school is an affront to me as a Christian. You're not allowing certain things to happen. That's wrong. You have that book in that library. I don't like that book. That's pissing me off. I don't like it. That's an affront to me. I don't like that article on CBS News. You just pissed me off. I'm suing you for billions of dollars. It's frightening. Agreed. I used to troll Dr. Gene Scott with my neighbor. He sent us all these religious. We'd call into his show and get on the air. Oh, the day of crank calls. Oh, Ken, I want to hear more about that. Remember when the Jerky Boys were around? But we have gotten to the point where, and in particular, and Clint, I think I'm not off base. I'm not disagreeing with you that I think the left is certainly taking on some of that, but the right has absolutely made it, and by right I mean not just politically right, but religiously way to the right, or nationalistically way to the right. They have taken it upon themselves that if you don't believe in what I believe, you are wrong and you should go to jail or get kicked out of this country or whatever. And that to me is an affront. So I will call it out this way. Pablo Honey, come to Florida. Let's see. Yo, Clint, it's me, Ken. Gene Scott. I watch Gene Scott reruns on YouTube. Do you really? George, where the lines should be drawn in your opinion? Like, where do we not let something to occur in order to not influence younger minds, since they are typically either to persuade? Just watch Ground News. Yeah, Mike, so happy. First of all, Mike, thanks for popping in. Yeah, go to Ground News. In fact, I'm actually debating starting a subscription to that because I think that Ground News is a fantastic place to go for stuff like that. Gene Scott was crazy with the 2 pairs of glasses. Oh, and being part of a certain political party didn't mean you were a hate-mongering human being. Yeah, exactly. And that's what it's become. In the last 20 years, it has become exactly that. That if you don't agree with me, I'm gonna call you names. But what's even worse is I'm going to find ways of switching you off. And that's what we're in right now. And this is why we are in the middle of a constitutional crisis. Let's be honest. Anybody who thinks we're not, you are being delusional. You get both sides. Hello. Live streaming. Say hi, Mia.
Hi.
What's going on?
Are we making dinner?
Yeah, I'm gonna be popping upstairs in about 10 minutes, and then we're gonna grill up some chicken.
Okay. What else is for dinner?
What else would you like? Fries?
Well, I just don't know, because if you're grilling chicken, I'm gonna make whatever else is supposed to be made too.
That's we're gonna do chicken.
Chicken and fries.
Yeah, we could do that. You want some rice?
Chicken, rice, and fries.
Sounds good to me.
Not...
These are the conversations we have often. Everybody say hi to me again.
Hello.
Quinnipiac bound. That's why we do this for our kids, right? Yeah, be up in 10, 15
So chicken, rice, and
No, we'll just
fries.
do chicken and fries, and we got some salad too, and I'll grill up some.
Chicken, fries, and salad. We just needed a green.
Oh, we're on the same page.
Okay.
And I'll grill as soon as I get upstairs.
It was like all greens and starch. I was like, Father.
That's my nurse. That's right. That's my future nurse. Ken, by the way, is a nurse too.
Ah.
He's our local. I think you might have met him one time.
Possibly. Okay. Last dream.
They grew up so fast. They do. Okay, I'll be up. Love you, honey. She's the best. Well, I love my kids. I'm so fortunate. I know. Yay. Anyway, sorry guys. Where were we? I got a little lost here a bit. Yeah, you get both sides, and I agree. First of all, there's nothing wrong when listening to, and I've heard plenty of things from the left that just don't make sense. It's like, yeah, those statistics don't look right, and you find out the statistics are wrong. That's fine. I want to be an educated person. I want to know what's going on in the world, right? I want to know that if I'm making a decision for me, it's on because I have the right information. Tell her I need her help. 4 years, Ken. Yeah, 4 years, just over 4 years. Though you guys should talk because I think right now it looks like she's going to be going into nurse, like a nurse who focuses primarily on anesthetics, anesthesia. All I know is now I want chicken. See, that's a good thing. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. The day's nice. I'm going to go outside, throw a couple of breasts on the grill. It'll be good. So, anyway, hey guys, like I said, I got about another 5-10 minutes left, and then I'm going to be bailed. But I hope people understand that when I'm doing this, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm not trying to be a dick, and I'm not trying to force my views on people. I'm actually hoping that somebody will just, and I'm probably preaching to the choir here. I'm asking people to think. That's all I'm saying. Just asking people, can you just do me a favor? Research your resources, nurse and anesthetist. Thank you. That's the role right there. You people. What's going on, Nick? I'm asking people to think. And I think we have to get to the point where, don't be a dick, George. Don't be a dick. I'm a dick. We know that. I'm asking people to take the responsibility. Instead of saying that person sucks and that person's evil, it's like, take the responsibility for yourself. I need a drink. Me too. I'm trying to think if I have a drink. I might or might not. Listen, having an opinion is not a bad thing. It's what makes us all individuals and special. 100%. Having an opinion is one thing. And to the point that you were, I think, making earlier, Clint, it's like having an opinion and saying, hey, here's my opinion, here's your opinion. Oh, we don't agree? Fine. It's when your opinion is an affront to me. That's when I have a problem with it. Hey, grumpy old man. Hey, what's going on? Actually, I'm pretty good tonight. If you watch this episode, Nick, and I hope you do, it might help. I got a drink. Oh, man. You guys all have drinks? I got fucking water. I may have to. I'm trying to think if I actually started drinking during this thing, if that might not be a good thing. It may not. I've had my drinks. So, anyway, all I'm asking is people not to get caught into this occult mentality. I'm hoping that people don't. I'm hoping that people will broaden their views and start to understand that because somebody is, trans, because somebody is homosexual, because somebody is a Muslim, because somebody is black, because somebody is a woman, that's not an affront to you. Having an opinion is awesome. It's a problem when your opinion is taken as fact. I agree, but I think it's more opinion when your opinion is looked upon and you won't bend. Glass of red wine is good for you. Dude, I would love a good glass of red wine right now. A nice cab. Did I have a good one? I haven't had a good glass of cab in a while. I've been seriously behind on my drinking. Ken, get to it, brother. Maybe that's the problem. By the way, I am not condoning alcoholism. Please understand, that's not what I'm doing. I'm actually condoning actually thinking. Alcoholics unanimous over here. Nice. Hey guys, by the way, so I know a bunch of people here, Larry. So Hasaki is Handren, Doctor Dirty Diggler is Clint, Swim Dad One is Ken. I've known a bunch of these guys. Left with questions, Nick. I've known a bunch of these guys for many many years. By the way, guys, say hi to Doctor Who, What, Where. That's Larry. Larry's been popping in on more than a couple of occasions. It's good to see some fresh meat. you know, new people. I just got home, gonna watch the replay after I spend time with the wife. Yeah, spend time with the wife and then watch the replay. You don't want to be sitting with your wife after you've watched this, Mike. It'll probably just, I don't know. I'd hate the sour the mood. Let's put it that way. What's up, Larry? Welcome to the madness. Hello, hello. And it is madness. So, I've appreciated very much. And here's the thing, you know, we were talking about this earlier, right? We are talking earlier about how social media can have its negatives, but this is where it can be positive, when we can have good conversations, frank conversations, right? Or not even doing this, like at the 6 a.m. thing, being able to just sit down with people and just like work on a model and just talk, drink over a cup of coffee and just kind of like, just talk. I had to watch the last week's replays while building in the trucks. If you wish. If you wish. In Oklahoma, I had an opportunity to go there and I stupidly missed it once. I think it was for Nationals. IPMS Nationals. All right, 5 more minutes and then we're going to call it. So, anyway, I do appreciate also, it's interesting. I'll just say this. Native America going to Arkansas tomorrow. Are you really? Nice. Alabama to Arkansas. Sounds good. Hey, Peter. What's going on, brother? Walmart distribution. Oh, so, Handren, are you a Walmart driver or are you an independent? I know a dude from Oklahoma. They build you boys strong over there. Yeah. Docking is such an underrated experience. SkeeterCon last year was that much more special because I got to converse with you and so many others. Yeah. Yeah. Frankly, Clint, you bring up the most important point. I got to tell you, the more I go to shows, the less I really care about the fucking models on the table. The more it's like, let's go hang out. I'll take a look at the models, like, and people ask, "Did you see anything cool?" And it's like, I think so. Real social interactions are few and far between. Yeah, amen to that. We definitely need more of that. Oh no, oh, you're a Schneider driver. Ooh, I keep seeing those trucks everywhere, fixing the switch companies later this year. Ooh, really? Thanks for keeping us out of the Gulf, Larry. Thanks for keeping us out of the Gulf. Hardy har har. Nice. One day owner operator so I can have more time hauling. Yeah. Yeah. Being your own guy. Yeah. I totally get that, Henry. Hey, but I'm glad that it sounds like the move to being a driver was a good thing. So I'm very happy for you, brother. This is what it's I'd like to think that this is what it's all about. That I'd love for us to return to a time when we can talk with people, have a good time, joke without it being an insult, but also not put out insulting jokes, and just get back to a time when we just love being with people. I mean, it's just like just having a good time and just chatting and that kind of thing. I genuinely hope we can get back to those days when we can have true discourse again. Much appreciated, brother. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, hello. Hey, Richard. Good day. How are you? What's also kind of good is now that we've, I kind of started out with the harder stuff, and now that we're kind of winding down, you know what? I kind of like this. Just go in there, fire and brimstone, do what you do, and then just kind of call it done. And now we're just talking about other stuff. True camaraderie, I think is what. Yeah, absolutely. So I decided not to work on the GPO3, and I decided to continue working on this Zaku 2 from Requiem for Vengeance. The level of detail on this thing is unreal. Really impressive. Highly recommend this. I'm looking forward to picking up the Gundam one of these days. Love any Zakus. Yeah, who doesn't love a Zaku? I don't trust anybody. You don't like a Zaku? You don't like a Zaku? That's a personal offense to me. I'm going to sue you. Yeah. Joke. These courses are like waves. There will never be a forever bad era or time. It's a human nature where we fuck up and come around and fix things. We'll fuck it up. But yeah, I agree with you. It's always going to be this. Absolutely. I told my daughters this years ago. How you're liking that build? This build is great. I highly recommend it. I almost pulled this out and started working on this. Cycles. I told my daughters this. It's like, look, just okay. So when Roe v. Wade got kind of overturned, right? My my older daughter, was getting really anxiety ridden, rightfully so. But what I told her was, just because Roe v. Wade was like won in 1973, it doesn't mean that you don't have to fight the battle every day. It's almost like it's almost like a military thing. If you take a hill, you have to hold the hill. And sometimes that means you have to go back to that hill. And this is what I'm going to suggest. It's like, and to what Handren is saying, right? The Greek always thinks it's in circles. History repeats itself. Oh, absolutely. Being Greek, of course, I fully believe that. It's all cycles. So no dendrobium? Not tonight. Not tonight. I didn't want to work on the dendrobium tonight. It's like I kind of started this upstairs while watching TV, and I was really happy with it. History will always repeat itself. That is human nature. Humanity will never learn from their mistakes. I think they will. But the other thing I keep telling my kids, and then with this, I'm going to call it a session. I'm going to say this too. I think it's also very important to understand that as humans, we're in our infancy. We like to think that we're so evolved. We're not very evolved. Looking at what's going on with the ability to be distracted by so many things, the illiteracy that's now going, no, we're not very evolved. We'd like to think we are. We got a long way to go, and that in some ways gives me a lot of comfort, because at least I know that because we're a young race, we're a young thing on this planet. It's going to take time for us to get to. Yes, it's going to take time for us to get to where we need to be, and it won't be in our lifetime. The snake eating its own tail. Yep. Do they play with them? Does who play with what? Ouroboros. Yes. All right, guys. Making sure. This is my portable bag. Making sure. Toss that in there. Okay, we're good. All right, so with that, the models. Do I play with them? No. I like building statues. When they're all done, it's a statue because it's in the pose that I want it to be in. All right, guys. Again, I want to thank everybody for being here, and I appreciate that people allow me to kind of have the ability to kind of talk in this venue. I truly believe we are in a very dangerous place in our country. I've never seen anything like this. I can't even imagine that something like this could have come about. The show starts too early, but you get something to watch later on. And a Requiem for Vengeance is really good. Absolutely. OSG Show says has a reason. Absolutely. And in fact, it's almost like a recap of this. If you have two sides that are so like this, and if you look inside both of them, sometimes each one has something going on. Now, in the political climate we're in right now, I'm a little challenged to see that from the other side, but I keep my eyes open. They're trying to eat dinner, yeah. Always a pleasure to catch you, stream, brother. Thank you, Handren. It's always good to have you here, too. So, guys, go out there and do good. Brighten the world as much as you possibly can. Make it good for somebody. It is a really dangerous place. It's a dangerous world. We're getting to a really crazy place, but it's up to us individually, not others. Up to us to brighten it as much as we possibly can. Do good, enjoy, show the love that we need to show to people, brighten their worlds as much as you possibly can. Just go out there and do good. And if we do that, things will get better. Got to feed those children. Yes, you do. So with that, guys, I'll be back on again tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. for my daily thing. And then next Thursday, I'll be coming back and doing this. Hopefully we'll have something good to talk about. We'll see. But go out there and do good. Love you all, and I'll catch you on the flip. Peace.